Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole and it's by user awkwardreaction571. Am I the a-hole for ditching my girlfriend at a restaurant which contributed to her failing her probationary period at work? I, 27 male, have been in a relationship with my girlfriend, Cindy, 26 female, since university. Last September, Cindy's company went under. She took this hard because she loved her workplace, loved her colleagues, and loved her boss. Unfortunately, they just weren't making that much money, so the plug was pulled. When Cindy came home and delivered the news to me, I asked if she wanted me to introduce her to my boss. Having the same major, we work in the same field, and my company is almost always hiring. Cindy said yes, and I texted my boss on the spot. After delivering her CV to him and a short interview process, she was hired in a 3-month probationary position. I was really excited to be working with Cindy. We could save money on gas by carpooling, spend more time together, and have lunch together too. Unfortunately, things did not pan out. To be frank, Cindy was a horrible employee. She showed up to the office 15 to 20 minutes late virtually every day. I had to give up on carpooling with her because I have a morning meeting and I need to get to work 15 minutes early every day. Cindy's favorite activity at work was opening up a blank Google Doc and looking at her phone under her desk. The hour we get for lunch was often an hour and a half for Cindy, and she really accomplished nothing in her time there. This continued for 3 months. Last Monday was a rare occasion where Cindy was actually ready on time to go to work together. Perhaps this was because of my gentle urging for her to get her crap together, or perhaps it was because her probationary period was ending soon. But we were able to carpool. We went out to lunch together and Cindy ate way too slowly. I was looking at the clock and encouraging her to get a move on, but at the end of the meal, right when we had to leave to make it back on time, Cindy decided she wanted another refill of her soda. I told her time was up, but she was adamant that she absolutely needed another refill. To make matters worse, the restaurant was crowded and we couldn't flag down a server. I put the cash for the meal and tip on the table, and I told Cindy that I was leaving with or without her. Cindy played chicken with me here, thinking that if she refused to move, I'd have no choice but to wait. But I walked to my car and drove back. Cindy showed up 20 minutes later, visually flustered. The restaurant was a 10-minute walk away, so I'm pretty sure she did end up getting her refill. She has been furious with me since. Last Friday, Cindy got her final judgment for her probationary period. Due to poor punctuality and general lack of direction, my company decided not to hire her for a full-time position. Cindy blames me. She says I made her late and that I ruined everything. Last night, she asked how she was supposed to pay for her part of the rent without a job, and I responded, yes. That's a good question. How will you be paying? This threw oil on the proverbial fire, and now she doesn't even want to fight about it anymore. Was I an a-hole for what I did here? No, OP, you most definitely are not the a-hole. Cindy did this to herself, and I think it was on purpose. I'm absolutely not surprised that her previous job went under. If Cindy loved her boss so much, maybe there were more co-workers like her, and zero productivity usually does get businesses shut down. Now, why do I think she tanked this thing on purpose and tried to blame you? Well, because for Cindy, the name of the game is zero accountability. Think about it. She was completely unproductive for 3 months, but in the last day, she decides she's gonna get her quote-unquote crap together, but then you made her late. Why was she so adamant to get that refill? OP, you weren't the a-hole, and honestly, the only thing I see here is a bunch of red flags. If I was in your shoes, I would definitely tell Cindy I'm done, I would get a new place, and I would definitely apologize to my boss for ever recommending her. And what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's check out the community comments. Terrible Turtle says, good grief, they didn't let her go because she was late from lunch once. Good for you for not risking your job to play stupid games, not the a-hole. Talking Mice says, if she seriously believes she wasn't hired because of that particular day and not at all the other ones, she's delusional as F. You even tried helping her to be punctual, but she didn't give an F. Not the a-hole. Not your responsibility at all. Guilty Bluebird 2339 says, please tell me you can see what she is doing. She doesn't want to work. It was a jump, but she stretched her wee little self all the way to being without a job, and somehow you're at fault? So now it's only fair that you pay her part of the rent and utilities and food. It's the least you can do for getting her fired. She set this up. Please, please say you can see it. OP, you are getting played, not the a-hole. And Bookworm Solaris says, not the a-hole. Cindy is way past the age where she should know how to manage her time. Her actions also had a chance of lowering your reputation in your boss's eyes. So this is pretty crappy of her. Additional information from OP's comments. Honestly, I kind of understand now why she loved her old company so much. I probably should have seen the signs earlier too. Despite both of us starting work at 9, and her old company being farther away than mine, I cannot recall a single day that she left before me. Even one time I was running very late due to stomach issues, I distinctly recall leaving at 9:05 with Cindy still doing her makeup. And I never even considered that she could be taking advantage of me. I honestly don't understand how any reasonable person would expect to pass the probationary period to a job after being chronically late and screwing around on Instagram all day at work. Well, the community definitely agrees that OP is not the a-hole and that Cindy is doing this on purpose, and apparently OP is starting to see that. So now let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. Last week, I, 27 male, talked about how my girlfriend, Cindy, 26 female, blew her probationary period for the job I got her completely. She was chronically late, unproductive, and she took 90-minute marathon lunch breaks. She claims that I sabotaged her because instead of being late when getting back to work, I left her at a restaurant when she wanted another refill of her soda. Anyway, Cindy decided she was going to take some time off work for her mental health. Of course she did. Knowing that she had absolutely no savings, I asked how she was going to contribute to rent, groceries, and utilities, but Cindy said that wasn't my concern. What? I decided to be upfront and flat out tell her not to expect me to financially support her. She responded by calling me a low provider, whatever that means. It's also not right because I'm more of a no provider. I'm not into arrangements where I financially support a woman for companionship. At this point, I knew that our relationship was basically over, but I decided that I'd stay in the apartment we rent for the next 2 months, as we have paid our rent in full until the end of May, and then leave. Then, Cindy began taking steps to actively sabotage me at work. For example, last Friday, when I was getting ready for work, I couldn't find my shoes. After letting me look for them for 15 minutes, Cindy finally said that she washed them. I'm fairly sure Cindy has never washed anything other than a plate or her own laundry, but on Friday morning, she abruptly decided to wash my shoes. Right, they were soaking wet. I had to wear an old pair of Crocs that were 2 sizes too small to the office that day. On my way home, I bought new shoes and kept them in my car. Then, Cindy began spamming me with texts during a meeting on Saturday, one I had told her I was having, saying there was a guy banging on our door. She insisted I needed to come home right away. I checked our Ring camera and saw nothing. When I texted her back saying so, she said it must have been the neighbor or something. It's worth mentioning here that I can see the neighbor's door on the camera too, and nobody was banging on it either. I got the picture of what was going on, and realizing the next escalation would be having my tires slashed or brakes cut, after work that day, I went back to our apartment, gathered my belongings, and left. Cindy naturally went off the rails, but I got out safely. Now I'm at my buddy's house for a few days until I can find a new living situation. Thank you for all the advice you gave me. I'm sure this can act as a cautionary tale in various ways. Unfortunately, I'm kinda out of it after all this drama, so I'll leave that part up to you. Opie, good for you. You got out of that situation, but you're not all the way out. The next thing you need to do is take care of yourself in the following two ways. One, you tell everybody you know why you left Cindy. And two, go to HR and tell them that you ended your relationship with Cindy. This is for one reason only. Protect yourself from any false claims. Considering Cindy's MO, she's definitely going to try to go for your reputation, either socially or at work, and she could ruin your life. So OP, take care of yourself, and in the meantime, here's wishing you the best. Now, let's move on to the next post that also has an update. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole, and it's by user tinyhand1201. Am I the a-hole for refusing to invite my aunt and cousin to my wedding? Sorry for any spelling errors, English is my second language. I have never been close to my aunt Kate or my cousin Marcus because my mom was advised by her doctor to be in low contact with Kate when my siblings and I were kids, as having her in her life was detrimental to her health. Marcus is autistic, and Kate has always used this as an excuse for all of his awful behavior. I, female 26, got engaged to Oliver 4 months ago. After sharing the news with our family and friends, my Aunt Kate started sending demanding messages about the wedding to me and my mother. Most of her demands are how to make my cousin, her son Marcus, comfortable at the wedding. I live abroad and the wedding will be here. Kate's demands include that we pay for her and Marcus to fly down a week before our wedding and stay a week after, since Marcus has never flown before. That we have his safe foods, which I am extremely allergic to, at the wedding. Having the wedding in my first language that my fiancé and in-laws don't speak, as well as a list of music we are allowed to play. Every single time I get any new messages from Kate or hear from my family about her, I get angry. She is acting as if my wedding is more about her son than me and Oliver. Last week, when talking to my mom, I mentioned that I would not be inviting Kate or Marcus to my wedding. Kate has been nothing but demanding, and I don't like Marcus after he tried to have my brother expelled in high school after bullying and even hitting my brother. The fact that I will not be inviting Kate or Marcus to the wedding has spread through my family, and while a lot of my family members who have witnessed their behavior are on my side, I am also being told to just invite them but refuse their demands to avoid more drama in the family, especially since I live abroad and won't experience the drama up close. So am I the a-hole for refusing to invite my aunt and cousin to my wedding? Well, OP, personally, no, I don't think you're the a-hole for that because it's super simple. It is your and Oliver's wedding. That's it. Now, you can also tell Kate that nothing of what she is demanding will happen or be catered to. And if that means that she's not gonna go to the wedding, well, so be it. Because again, and this is super important, it is yours and Oliver's wedding. That's it. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's check out the community comments. Pomegranate Real 3620 says, quote, I'm sorry, Kate, it wouldn't be fair to the rest of our guests to devote so much of our wedding budget to 2 guests. Given our financial constraints, we will be unable to provide you and Marcus with a free international vacation. Perhaps you and our relatives can arrange a special vacation just for the 2 of you, but it will not be my wedding, end quote. And to any family demanding you give in, quote, thank you for volunteering to support Kate and Marcus's vacation fund. All donations can be sent to them, care of Family Helps Family. End quote. Cheers. Cat Jarman Pants says, not the a-hole. You do you, and given that you don't like them, you aren't damaging a relationship that you'd otherwise like to keep. But simply, to make less drama for you, if you invite them, but make it clear that you are not accommodating all the demands. Will they decline or turn up and be a menace? If it's the former, you don't get drama because you invited them, but they aren't there, which is also what you want. Of course, if you think they'll turn up if invited, but without all the rubbish, then you're just going to have to not invite them. The way to frame it is to preemptively tell your family that the aunt has already told you they won't be coming because you're not able to cater to all of your cousin's needs, which are out of your hands, and it's all just really sad, but life goes on, etc. Strobo says, not the a-hole. You don't want them there. That's a good enough reason. Anyone upset about your decision can choose to not attend. Not your problem. And GardenSafe8519 says, invite them but refuse their demands. What? That would create some yelling drama crap at your wedding. Tell dear aunt that the wedding isn't about her or her son. The wedding is about you and your soon-to-be husband, and therefore are not inviting her or paying for their flights or having foods you're allergic to. Who cares what anyone else in the family says? Not the a-hole. Community agrees that OP is not the a-hole and that she just shouldn't invite them. So now let's move on to the update to see how the story ends. Some people asked for an update, so I wanted to share what has happened. After taking a couple of days to think about everything and discussing it with Oliver, I sent an email to my extended family. I told them that my decision about Kate and Marcus was final, and anyone who brings it up to me again will not receive an invite to the wedding. I also told them if they don't want to deal with Kate's drama, they have to shut it down or cut them out. I also told my parents and siblings I do not want to hear any more about any family drama and to please not tell me anything else. On to some happier updates. Oliver's grandparents had offered to host our wedding at their property. So we will have our wedding at their property in February next year, summer where we are. My brother-in-law has also told us some of his friends are willing to be security at our wedding in exchange for food. That sounds like a good deal. So, while I doubt Kate and Marcus will fly here for a wedding they aren't invited to, we are considering having security. I guess I'll just have to wait and hope to avoid further drama around our wedding. Nicely done, OP. I don't think you'll have to worry about anything. If Kate was demanding that you pay for her flights, I'm pretty sure she doesn't want to pay for them at all. So here's wishing you and Oliver the best. Take care, OP, and thanks for sharing. Now let's finish this video with a mood booster post. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance and it's by user MouseG23. You want us to dress in business attire when all other departments get to wear blue jeans? You got it. This happened many years ago. I worked for a top US banking institution. In our building, all of the other departments were allowed to wear blue jeans on Fridays. My manager decided that our department had to wear business attire on Fridays. To be clear, we had no customer-facing presence. Also, our department processed check deposits from ATMs and they came in mesh bags from the armored couriers. They were usually quite filthy and were frequently wet in bad weather. So, when our manager told us that we couldn't wear blue jeans on Friday like every other department, the entire team was upset. Here is where we cue the malicious compliance. The next Friday, I went to my closet and found the most mismatched outfit I could put together, sticking completely to business attire. We are talking pastel floral paint shirt with pants with bold color stripes. I put it on and proudly walked into the office. My manager just happened to be on vacation that week, so nothing was said about my ridiculously mismatched outfit. Fast forward to next Friday, I, once again, chose the most hideous combination of an outfit that I could put together. Once again, I walked into the office with my head held high, confident in my business attire. Imagine my surprise when I walked in and everyone on my team had on hideous combinations of clothing. As you can imagine, my boss walks in and sees everyone in their various hideous outfits. The look on her face was priceless. All 15 of us in hideous outfits, but all meeting the business attire dress code. She pulled us all into a meeting and told us that our attire was entirely inappropriate for a business environment and that she would have to write each and every one of us up. I asked her to pull out the company handbook and read the definition of what it said as business attire. She read it and it stated something like clean and pressed business attire consists of slacks, skirts or dresses, and clean pressed shirts or blouses. It went on to say something like no blue jeans, t-shirts, ripped or clothes with holes, no sleeveless shirts, and no athletic or gym shoes. I asked her where in the guidelines does it say anything about whether our outfits matched or not. She couldn't find anything and said she would have to contact HR to discuss with them what her options were to write us up. Needless to say, none of us were ever written up. She did, however, say we still need to dress in business attire. Word quickly spread to other departments about her forcing us to wear business attire. The next week, 2 departments around us decided that they would also dress up in hideous matched clothing. The managers of those departments quickly got in touch with our manager and put pressure on her as they didn't like how their employees were dressing. Our manager called us into a meeting and told us we could wear blue jeans on Friday moving forward. Malicious compliance wins. Nicely done, OP. Nothing else to say, but as you did, malicious compliance wins. Thanks for sharing. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out. So here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later. And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.